Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is International Women's Day. First of all, we'll just start off with that. I'm wearing my Fight Like a Girl shirt, and also it on the back, you guys can't see it, also says Win Like a Woman, which I think is awesome. I love this shirt, I love this day, I love everything that it stands for. So yeah, I just wanted to bring a little bit of recognition to that first off in the video. Secondly, I am going to film an updates video today because it's been quite a while since I did one of these and a lot of stuff has happened in the last couple months. The last video I uploaded was in October, kind of the middle of October. So since then, I have all the dates and everything wrote down. On October 22nd, a friend of mine, her dad committed suicide. I don't want to get too much into it because it's not my business to tell, but that was a very big thing. On the 26th and the 27th of October is when his funeral and viewing stuff was, and it was just really, really hard. He was the owner of a big trucking company and a big like wrecker service, so they had a really, really cool like wrecker funeral procession with all the wreckers, and they carried him to the cemetery on the back of a wrecker. It was really, really cool. I have a vlog about it that you guys can go watch. She did tell me that I could film, like, obviously, like the funeral procession and that kind of stuff. I obviously didn't film at the funeral home. I just filmed, you know, what I thought was respectful and that kind of stuff. So I did film that. You guys can go watch it on my vlog. But that was a really, really hard situation to deal with. I wasn't super close with a friend, but I did know her through another one of my very good friends. That was a really, really big thing that happened. Then on the 11th of November, unfortunately, I lost a very, very good friend of mine, a neighbor who lives across the street from me and has ever since we were in high school. His name was Justin, and we lost him very tragically. We had his funeral, but it was really, really hard for me and for my whole community because I live in a very small town, so when one person passes, it's hard for all of us because we all know each other. So yeah, I went to high school with him. I used to hang out with him all the time in high school. He was a really, really good guy, but yeah, I lost my friend and it was just really, really terrible. And then on November 23rd of this past year was Thanksgiving. I spent Thanksgiving for the first time by myself with my family, if that makes sense. Like, usually my father comes up and I go and spend Thanksgiving with his family. My father did not come up this year, and I still went and saw his family, which was really cool and slightly different because I'm usually there with my dad. I learned a lot more about my family and a lot about my history and stuff that they don't really say in front of my dad or don't really talk about. So I did learn a lot about my family. We had a good time. Then I came here and had dinner with my family, and then I also went to my best friend's house and spent Thanksgiving with her family. So I spent Thanksgiving in 3 different places, which was really cool because normally I don't spend it anywhere, or I spend it at one place, and I spent it at 3 this year, and it was really fun. On December 12th, I started my cover series, which was actually a very, very big deal, and I'm so sad that I didn't finish it, but it's so hard to do covers. Like, for me at least, it's so hard to do cover challenges, especially around Christmas time, when everything Christmassy is going on. You're trying to get Christmas presents and get stuff ready for a dinner and all that kind of stuff. It was just really, really hectic, and I didn't finish it. It's also, like, mentally very hard for me because I don't consider myself a singer by any means. So doing covers are always really hard for me because I don't want to do a song that I really, really like and mess it up, because I love that song and I don't want to, like, mess it up or alter it in any way. I want to do it justice. So that was kind of really mentally draining, but it started a little spark in me that made me want to continue to do it. I probably won't be doing cover series for a while until I gain some confidence, but I will be posting covers here and there. I just won't do them consistently, like every day or anything. And then during the Christmas season, I went to a lot of different parties. Christmas parties and went out with friends. I went and saw a band one time. I went to a bar with my friend Oksana one time, and it was just a lot of fun. And then December 24th and 25th obviously was Christmas and Christmas Eve, and I spent that with family and with my best friend, so that was really, really fun. Then on New Year's, me and my mom and her friend went out. I had a really, really good night on New Year's this year. It was really, really fun. I always have a good time on New Year's usually. I love being in a bar on New Year's. That's just a thing that I love because everybody's so hyped, and everybody, like, when the ball drops, everybody's just so hype and come together as like a whole bar, and it's so much fun. I also had some really kind of negative things happen after the ball dropped and we were on our way home, but that's a story for a different time, which I will eventually tell you guys when I'm ready. But yeah, I did have some negative things happen like 2 hours into the new year, so that was unfortunate, but you know. And then on January 6th, we got a phone call about my stepdad's father, who would be my step-grandfather. He had cancer and he was not doing very, very good. And so we went and spent the day with him, and we got to a point where we thought it was safe to leave, and as soon as we left and came home, we got the call about him passing. I give mad props to anybody who can work with or around terminally ill people, or people with cancer, or kids with cancer especially. It's really, really hard for me. I could not be a nurse because of that, because it tears me apart. It's just, especially when they're sitting there suffering and you're just sitting there kind of waiting for the inevitable to happen. And when we spent that day with him, the day before he passed, or it was actually the day he passed, we were there all morning and evening, and then when we left, he passed later that night. So we were there literally the day he died, and it was just really sad and pitiful to watch, and it's awful, guys. I can't, myself personally cannot handle that kind of stuff, and it was really, really hard for me, and really, really sad for our family and for his family. And then on the 10th and 11th of January, we went and stayed with his aunt for the viewing and then the funeral the next day, which was also really hard, but we kind of got to have some family time and like a little get together and just kind of talk about him and share memories and stuff like that, so that was kind of really cool. And then a week later, on the 17th, a really good friend of mine, Jason, was in a pretty bad car wreck. Luckily, he came out alive. That was really awful, but luckily he's okay now. It was just really, really hard and really soon after some other pretty tragic stuff was happening, so that was kind of unfortunate, but again, he's alive, so that's great, and I'm so happy. He's a really, really good friend of mine, and I love him so much. And then on the 21st, actually on the 14th of January, my little cousin, my first cousin's son, turned 3, and it's her youngest son, and he turned 3 on the 14th, but his birthday party was on the 21st. So I went and spent the day with them. Again, there's a vlog of that. My first cousin is basically like my sister. I call all her kids my nieces and nephew, but I can't believe her youngest kid is 3 years old. I remember when she texted me the pregnancy test to tell me she was pregnant and was freaking out and trying to figure out how to tell her husband that she was pregnant. It blows my mind that he's 3. And then this is not something necessarily personal to me, but it felt personal to me, and this was the Larry Nassar case, the Olympian doctor, gymnastics doctor. I was very invested in this. The trial started around the 23rd of January and lasted for however many weeks, but I was very invested in this case. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that a man got away with that for as many years as he did, and as many people and women as he did, and it's such an awful thing. And I invested a lot of time into watching that case, and I'm glad he got what he deserved, and I'm so proud of all the women that came out and the survivors who stood against him. And I almost made a video on it, but I feel like in that case, a video would not do it justice because I was just so angry. I'm still very angry at that situation. And I feel like if I did a video on it, I would just be rambling the entire time and going off. And that's not productive for anybody. I don't think I could compose myself as well as some of those survivors did, which is why I didn't make a video about it. Then on the 26th, 27th, and 28th of January was my birthday weekend, and I had a blast for my birthday. On that Friday, I got a birthday card for my grandma that made me so happy. And then on the 27th, I went and bought those big 23 balloons that you see on Instagram all over the place. And I also did a video on this channel for my 23rd birthday, which you guys saw with my balloons. But on the 27th, I went to my hometown in this cute little park where everybody takes pictures, and had my cousin give me like a photo shoot, and got to spend some time with her and her kids and have like a cool 23 birthday shoot, and that was really, really cool. And then on the 28th, which was a Sunday, and the 28th is also my actual birthday, I spent it eating cake and playing games with Allie and being in stream with Allie Speed, who streams on Twitch, and the Farrell family played games all day. I got drunk, and just kind of hung out and chilled in my room, and with some very cool internet people who I love so much. Then moving on to February, which was this past month. February 4th was the Super Bowl, obviously. I went to my uncle's house, also vlogged this, spent the Super Bowl with them. We had a really, really good time. We had little, like, Super Bowl food. It wasn't as big as a deal as it normally is for us. This year we kind of just dimmed it down and had, like, a little Super Bowl party, but it was still fun. February 7th, made 18 years since my grandparents had passed away. And I make a video every single year for them. I try to. This year I did a cover song. Kind of upset with that cover. I don't think I did a super good job, but it was for my grandparents. And yeah, I wanted to do something special for them, and that song really means a lot to me. And also on that day, I started another cover challenge that I once again didn't finish. But again, I put so much pressure on myself when I do these covers. So it takes me a long, long time to build up the courage and get to know the song and learn it to a point where I feel comfortable enough to put a video up. So doing something like uploading a video every single day is very hard for me, because that doesn't allow me a lot of time to learn these songs enough to where I'm comfortable with them and where I feel like I can do them justice. Now this is where the last couple weeks have just been really, really hard. On February 12th, a dear, dear friend of me and my family passed away. His name was Scott. His daughter was one of my best friends since 8th grade, I believe. And we've always been really, really close. He spent Christmas at my house. He was always here hanging out with us. And he did a lot for my family. He meant a lot. He always told me that I would do great things in life, and that he considered me one of his daughter's only true friend. And it just was really, really hard and a shock to so many people. It's weird. It's weird to adjust to. And I'm tired of losing people, guys. I've lost so many people. He passed, and I went down and spent some time with my friend, and we just kind of tried to cope as best that we could. And to make matters worse, the day after I found out he passed, I started a new job. And it had been kind of a long process of getting this job, but I am working now. I started working the day before Valentine's Day, and the day after my friend Scott passed away. So it was like a really weird timing thing, but I've been working there since, and I really, really like it so far. So my friend Scott passed away on the 12th. I started work on the 13th, and on the 14th, Valentine's Day, as you guys know, the Parkland shooting happened, which again, not me personally did it really affect, but in a way it did. And it just kind of, I don't know, for some reason that shooting was the one that kind of woke me up to what's going on in the world. I mean, I kind of already had an idea, but this was just like an instant, like, something needs to change. And I've been saying that for years, but it never really hit me that hard until then. And I don't know if that was because of everything else that was going on in my life at that time or what, but I just really had a realization after that. And yeah, so that was just a really, really hard week for me. And then getting to the more recent stuff, on February 22nd, which is something that is actually kind of good news, every single teacher in West Virginia went on strike. I did a whole video talking about this, so I won't talk about it too much, but never in my life have I witnessed my state or my county or protesters on my streets doing what they were doing, and it's so awesome. If you guys want to see a full video on the 55 Strong March, you can Google it. I have a video which I will link down below, or you can go see it on my profile that I talked about 55 Strong and the march in more detail, so you guys can go there. But yeah, that started on February 22nd, and they actually went back to school yesterday, I believe. So it lasted from February 22nd to March 7th, which is incredible. And then on February 25th, I actually had a weird situation happen at my house. I went and stayed with my cousin and hung out with her. We had a really, really good time. I stayed the night with her and just hung out with her kids, and I love her so much, and I am so grateful for her. I love her so much, even though we give each other hell 24/7. I feel like that's just our relationship, but I do love her so very much, and I thank her for always being there for me. And also on the 25th, I found out my another good friend of mine, Wyatt, passed away in a car accident. So again, very, very tragic, very hard. He was a good friend of mine. His mom was in a relationship with my cousin for a really long time, so we were really, really close at one point, and I still saw him around town a lot. And again, just a really hard situation overall. So, yeah, his funeral was this past weekend. I was not able to go because I had to work, so that was unfortunate. His family knows how I feel. I've reached out to them and talked to them, so there's that. But it's just so sad, and he was so young. He was only 20, and yeah, so rest in peace to Wyatt. Still so upset about this. Me and one of my friends that I work with, she also knew him, and we came into work that day like almost in tears, and we just talked about him all day and basically bawled even at work. And this past weekend was his funeral, and also this past weekend we had some really, really high winds, and the power and the internet went out. I took a trip and just kind of cruised around and kind of process some things. I feel like my therapy almost is just riding around in my car by myself, jamming to music and just processing everything that's going on. That's my favorite thing to do when shit hits the fan, and that's basically what I did this weekend while the power was out and the internet was out. So yeah, I planned on getting this video up sooner, but I had a lot going on, as you guys can tell, especially these last couple weeks. And I've been working and getting all kinds of stuff done, and trying to get a grip on my life a little bit. So I hope you guys understand. So I hope you guys enjoyed this updates video, and hopefully it won't be too long until I make another one. I plan on making another one within the next week, so hopefully you guys will see that. And happy International Women's Day to all of you lovely women out there. I am so grateful to be a woman in today's society with everything that's going on, and the way women stand up for each other. I love it. Fight like a girl and win like a woman. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.